Alright guys, back with another video with the EB3000s and the PECRON 2000 LFP. So I saw a question posed by a viewer, Kilo M, cool guy. He talked to PECRON and they said that since he was having the syncing problems with the batteries, that PECRON said it might be the cables. Now I don't know. I'm not a scientist, obviously. I'm not an engineer. But I think outside the box sometimes, and my brain was twisting, and I came up with the idea, okay, well, if it is the cables, if that's what the headache of the problem is, I have a question that's maybe some of you guys can help me with. So, if the cables are the problem, and and the last test I did, I disconnected all the cables. I pulled the system completely down. That way each battery was independent there of itself. So being that the batteries are independent there of itself, there's no influence from either the main unit or the other batteries for the power level of the meter of the battery, right? Since they have their own BMS and they have their own charging style and the low and high temperature cutoffs, when this system's all by itself, as it can be used by itself, on the other side you have all the ports and the inverter. It's basically a car battery in a box, a fancy box. It should understand that once you disconnect these main cables from the system, these power meters, you would think, would reset and recalibrate and say, the system had it wrong. My battery is actually at this percentage or this voltage. So I'm gonna just do another quick test, being that I feel a little bit more brave with this now. And I figure, you know, since I started the ball going, I can't stop now. Otherwise, people will not have the answers they need. This is a fantastic product. It really is. It's my favorite power station as of yet today that I bought so far. And believe me, I'll be buying a lot more. I'm not a fan favorite of anybody. I want whatever works, and I think you guys do too. So we'll turn this little guy on. This battery, you can see it's 50%. And then this battery, it says it's at 75. Now, I don't know. I was looking at that and I kind of have a problem with that, because if this was actually truly at 50% and it's at 75, the voltages should be different on each one, right? So let's assume that this is at 50% and it's in the 25 volt range, which I know it's not, but let's just, for argument's sake, let's say this is in the 25 volt range. That would be approximately 50% for a battery, right? So if I test this one that says it's in the 75, okay, I'm going to do a live test with a live machine. That way you can see this. Put the ports in these little guys here, and we have 26.2 volts on this battery at 75%, right? So 26, I don't think that's 50% or 75. I think it's right in between. So here's what I'm going to do, and you shouldn't do this. I don't recommend this. You know, don't play with electricity unless you're willing to pay the price, which could be dangerous. I'm going to disconnect this live. The system is running actively right now, and you would think that this is not good for the system, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to risk, you know, screwing something up to help. Now, this battery is 100% independent now. There's nothing influencing this anywhere. No Bluetooth app. No internal communication between the systems that talk the Wi-Fi or whatever. So you have an empty battery sitting in a box, the same as a car battery, for the most sake, for the argument's sake. And you click it, it's 75%. So if the battery voltage is the same, which I believe it's 26.2 on this one and 26.2 on this one, and I put these probes in here, right? It's still at 26 now it's at 26.1, right? It was at 26.2 a second ago, which, you know, it could have dropped. But a tenth of a volt is not much at all. Yeah, 26.1. So that's my working theory now. Now I'm going to hook it back up live. Like I said, I don't recommend you do this with your system. These are hella hard to get in there too. You sure got to give it some old quarterback fighting rushing line force to get that in there. So now the system is back linked together. So you would assume that this would communicate from the main to this if my batteries cables, my terminal cables, are good and active. But notice that didn't turn back on, right? It didn't turn back on at all. It didn't say it's syncing. It didn't say found new battery. Kind of like a computer. You know, when you plug a USB thing, device in the side of a computer, right away the system recognizes that as, hey, something else plugged in. I have to adapt my system settings to allow that little piece of hardware to be adapted into the system flow of the operating system. And, you know, just the whole scheme of things. You know, it has to realize it's there. But notice, it never even turned back on at all. So you have, it's properly set up, you know, main box to 1, 2 to 1. That's exactly how PECRON has it. I think these batteries are very simplistically parallel set together, very redundant. And I really think, and it's just a theory, I think these batteries, either the shunts or the meters, they just don't work. You know, I've been running this system now for 2 days straight. Literally, it's 48 hours straight on that low current draw. Right now we're drawing 150 watts. I have 56% of the battery left. If I check the voltage on the actual machine, it says 26.2. Right? That was 26.2. I'm assuming this is 26.2. I'm not going to disconnect that. Matter of fact, you know what? Hell with it. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it for the science. For the sake of science. So now the batteries are disconnected, right? The sake of science here. Boldly go where no man has gone before, and make sure you have your fire extinguisher at the ready just in case. So I plug this bad boy in here. 26.2, right? Now if you recall, this is 26.2 volts at 50%. This one, if you recall a second ago, 26.1. Now that means on paper this voltage is higher than that one, and yet this one has a higher power meter rating. That's technically impossible. So let me hook this thing back up. Let me get my Arnold Schwarzenegger muscles out if I even can find some. Oh, those are hella tough to put in there. But that's my working theory, guys. Leave a comment. I really want to, you know, help people figure this out. And if it costs me a little bit of headache and time, that's fine. I'm part of the YouTube community now, I guess. That's what my wife says. So we're going to work as a team to figure this out. And I don't know. It's a great system. I love it. You know, but at the same time, if another system comes out that's just as good, that's a good bang for the buck, I'd buy that one too. I'm not a fan of any particular model. As a DJ, I've got probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 different styles from JBL, Jensen, Blaupunk, Serwin Vega. I mean, you name it, I've used it. There's not a speaker out there that I've heard about that I haven't physically used at a show or anything. You name it, you know. Alpine. I mean, there's so many systems out there. Yeah. So anyway, I was rambling, but leave a comment. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you guys think these meters are just missing in action? Do you think it's the cables like Kilo M had mentioned, that PECRON mentioned? But I have a problem with that, because when you disconnect these cables, these batteries should reset, obviously, because they're independent now, right? They should reset to what they really truly believe themselves to be as far as the power meters with their test and their shunts and their BMS and everything in there. But that's my question. Other than that, like I said, system works fine. I've had zero problems with it other than these damn lights. So as a joke, one more time, sorry to pick on PECRON, but all you got to do is, you know, you get that roll of electrical tape and you put it right over these lights, and it seems to fix everything. So that's just a joke, of course. But guys, let me know what you think, okay? I'm really curious, and every bit of information that we get out there helps the next consumer buy a product that they really can enjoy and get a good bang for the buck. All right, I'll talk to you guys again. Ramblin Bob Reviews.